What's going on, folks? Jones here, doing the first edition of a little show we're going to be calling Jonesamania here on the YouTube channel. Sorry, I'm fumbling. I got my notes. That's how we're going to have to do this today. This is basically serving as an introduction to the show and what I want to cover. As long as I've been probably around, I mean, for most of my life, I've been a huge wrestling fan. I've gone through some ups and downs with it and stuff like that. But I decided to do the show as kind of a labor of love, fun project, just adding more to, my palette. So I know there's a lot of wrestling shows out there, and I think it'd just be fun to tell things from my perspective of how I feel about certain aspects of this. So there's going to be a lot of opinion pieces. I'm going to run down a lot of them here. So basically, I've got like 10 to I've got 11 different topics that will be part of episodes, and I'm going to go ahead and run them down for you real quick. So we're starting next week with the first episode, which we'll call The State of Tag Team Wrestling. After that, we're going to go to my top underrated talents of all time. There'll be some top 10 lists and stuff like that. Work rate versus storytelling is a subject I'm thinking about talking about. My new preference towards indie wrestling is another important subject. Favorite championships, because there's a lot of those. Different styles of wrestling. Strong style, comedy, lucha libre, basic stuff like that. Factions, favorite factions of all time. Now, keep in mind, some of these are my personal opinions, so don't attack me because you don't agree with them, because that's just silly and kind of counterintuitive, to discussion, as I'd like to say. Wrestling versus MMA, that's been a big thing lately. Some of the best promos I've ever seen, and then an episode about fans taking over the shows and the problem with social media brings to the business. I've also got another topic about women wrestlers who are awesome that aren't in the WWE, because there's a lot of really good female talent out in the indies as well. I'm also doing a Twitch wrestling show, which this is the only time I'm going to talk about it as if it was not a real thing. So we're doing a little wrestling show I'm going to build through storylines and segments on this show for a promotion I've come up with called New Dawn Wrestling. Now, a lot of the action and matches are going to be done on Twitch using WWE 2K. We're going to try that out and see if I can actually pull that off. But it's my own little labor of love. It's going to take a lot of work because designing characters is a pain in the ass and it takes a long time. But I've got a few, so let's go ahead and I need people to help cut promos and play characters. If you're interested in that, be sure to let me know. I've got a few written down, so you're going to meet a couple different guys. I'm going to be myself as the main commentator of the show. There's also a character called C.R. Smith, and you'll find out a little bit more about him later. I'm going to leave that alone. There is a babyface manager called Bronco Patterson. He's like an old school cowboy. In his big charges, the champion, Roger the Bull Rogers. I know it's a silly name, that's why I went with it. I got another heel going after the belt called Funky Pete. There's a couple other characters I've come up with that I'm kind of developing. Like I said, if anybody's interested in playing a character or helping me out with some promo stuff, I'd appreciate it. But this is the last time I will talk about New Dawn Wrestling as if it's not a real show, which it isn't. So it's my own little fun thing. We're going to come up with our own championships and stuff like that. I think I actually made some championships. Hold on. What did I come up with? I got the World Championship. Okay, so yeah, I have like a couple different ones here. I'll talk about those more later, but as we build towards it. But I'm really looking forward to this, guys. I've been wanting to do a wrestling related show for about a year now, and I've had false starts and a couple different ideas break out. But if you're interested in having anything to do with that, be sure to let me know. I mean, I'd like to have other people on to talk about their opinions and whatnot. But yeah, so everything starts up next week with the State of Tag Team Wrestling. That's going to be a fun topic because I'm a big fan of tag team wrestling. Things I like in wrestling nowadays, I've really been getting into the indies and New Japan for probably about 10 years now. Not as a, I only watch this, but as a preference nowadays, I feel like that's a little bit, they're a little bit more on their A game, I guess you could say. I don't know, but I like a lot of the things they've been doing lately in the indies and stuff like that. For about 10 years, 12 years now. I grew up watching, the NWA stuff, the WWF stuff, and Kind of had a hiatus in the early 90s. In the mid 90s to late 90s, I got back in because I found out Hulk Hogan was a bad guy, and I thought it was the craziest thing ever. So that's just a basic overview of me, the show, and I will see you guys next week with the first official episode of Jonesamania / New Dawn Wrestling. Hope you enjoy. Hope you like it. Be sure to leave thumbs up. Throw out some ideas if you want to in the comments below, suggesting topics or anything really. I kind of want to do different subjects and then go from there, and we'll see how it goes. So thanks everybody for watching. I'll see you next time, next week. Take care.